There comes a point in every life where the road becomes steep. Not impossible, just steep. And in that moment, the question is not, is it fair? The question is, will I keep going? You see, life doesn't hand out ease. It hands out opportunity wrapped in adversity. The people who thrive are not the ones who avoid the fire. They're the ones who walk through it and come out better. Discipline is painful. Growth is uncomfortable. But regret is a weight no man should carry. If the price of progress is sweat, then pay it gladly. If the cost of greatness is patience, then endure it fully. There are seasons when the results don't show, when you give and give and give and give, and it looks like nothing's working. But let me remind you, the harvest never comes the same day the seed is planted. You keep showing up, you keep learning, you keep adjusting, because the moment you quit, you cancel everything you've been building. You might be one effort away from the breakthrough, and you'll never know unless you endure. Pain is temporary. Fatigue fades, but the strength you build when you endure, that's yours forever. It becomes part of you, and no one can take that from you. You don't have to be perfect. You just have to be persistent. You don't have to have it all figured out. You just have to have the heart to keep moving forward. Endurance is not about speed. It's about direction. It's about refusing to give in to temporary feelings that try to talk you out of permanent purpose. You're tired. That's fine. You're scared. Welcome to the human race. You feel like giving up? Good. Now prove to yourself that you won't. You can either find a way or find an excuse. And every day you make that choice. Choose to go one more round. Choose to endure just one more day, because the finish line isn't always visible, but it's always there. And if you just keep going, if you keep showing up when it's hard, when it's dry, when it's slow, when it's silent, then one day you'll look back and be thankful that you didn't quit, because you didn't just survive. You grew, you endured, and that made you unstoppable. Adversity is not a reason to stop, it's a sign to grow. Most people think when things get hard, it's time to back off, time to slow down, time to reconsider the path. But what if the challenge isn't a roadblock? What if it's a signal that you're getting close to something meaningful, a signal that you've reached the edge of your comfort zone, and now growth is calling. Growth doesn't show up in easy times. It doesn't live in calm waters. It reveals itself in the storm, in the chaos, in the test. Every great transformation begins with tension. The seed has to break before it sprouts. The muscles have to tear before they grow. And the soul expands when it's stretched by adversity. So don't run from the hard things. Don't panic when the path gets dark. That moment right there is where most people quit. But you're not most people. The struggle is not the end of the journey. It's the birthplace of progress. Every setback has a lesson. Every hardship has a message. Every trial carries truth you couldn't learn any other way. Pain is not the enemy. Discomfort is not the villain. They are teachers in disguise. They refine. They shape. They test your resolve and reveal your strength. You don't build character in comfort. You build it in the fire. You build it when your plans fall apart, but you refuse to. When life knocks you down, but you rise anyway. When nothing goes right, and you still choose to go forward. Growth demands a price. It demands patience. It demands endurance. It demands that you believe in what's ahead, even when what's in front of you feels unbearable. This season may be stretching you. It may feel heavy. You may be tired, but don't confuse resistance with rejection. Life isn't saying stop. It's saying rise. It's saying level up. It's saying prove to yourself what you're really made of. When you face adversity, don't say, "Oh, why me?" Say, "Try me." Say, "I was built for this." Say, "This won't break me. It will build me." Every champion was once broken. Every leader was once lost. Every strong person you admire had a moment where they had to decide, do I give up or do I grow? Growth is never easy, but it's always worth it. So let adversity be your compass, not your cage. Let it push you higher, not bury you deeper. This is not where you stop. This is where you strengthen. This is where you rise. Discipline and patience are the real price of success, not hype. Not luck, not talent alone, but discipline, the decision to do what must be done, even when you don't feel like it. And patience, the ability to keep going when the results don't show right away. In a world that worships speed, success still belongs to the steady. To the one who keeps showing up when no one is watching. To the one who does the small things right over and over again, not just for a week, not just for a month, but for as long as it takes. Discipline is waking up early when you'd rather sleep in. It's sticking to the plan when distraction screams your name. It's doing the work when motivation is gone. Because it's not about how you feel today. It's about the future you're building tomorrow. Patience is understanding that greatness doesn't happen overnight. It's knowing that every step forward, no matter how small, matters. It's trusting the process, even when the pace feels slow. Because anything worth having takes time to build. And the deeper the foundation, the stronger the structure. You can't microwave mastery. You can't rush real progress. You earn it inch by inch through consistency, through repetition, through self-control. Discipline is making promises to yourself and keeping them. Not when it's convenient, but especially when it's not. It's what separates wishful thinking from real achievement. It's what turns dreams into plans and plans into results. Patience is the quiet strength, the refusal to give up when nothing seems to be changing. It's the belief that every effort adds up, even when there's no applause, no spotlight, no recognition. Because true growth happens in silence. Success builds behind the scenes, long before it shows on the surface. You want to succeed? Then fall in love with the process, not just the prize. Because the reward comes to those who can wait, but only if they keep working while they wait. Discipline is what gets you started. Patience is what keeps you going. And together, they forge the path to real, lasting success. Every shortcut has a cost. Every easy way out comes with a consequence. But the path of discipline, it may be tough, but it's true. And the road of patience, it may be long, but it leads to something real. So show up, day after day. Do the work even when it's hard. Trust the process even when it's slow. Be faithful in the little things, because they become the big things. The world may chase quick wins, but you are building something solid, something that lasts. And that takes time. That takes grit. That takes discipline. And above all, it takes patience. Results don't come instantly. Stay consistent. That's the truth most people don't want to hear. Because we live in a world that celebrates speed, fast results, overnight fame, instant gratification. But the real victories, the meaningful ones, they don't happen in a flash. They happen in the quiet, repetitive work. They're built in the background when no one's watching and no one's clapping. You plant the seed, you water it daily, you show up again and again. And for a while, nothing seems to change. That's when most people give up. They think it's not working. They think they're wasting their time, but they're wrong. Because growth is slow, progress is subtle. The results are taking root beneath the surface, even when you can't see them yet. Success isn't magic. It's not luck. It's not some grand event that happens out of nowhere. It's the result of countless small efforts stacked on top of each other over time. Every drop of sweat counts. Every early morning counts. Every late night, every repeated effort, every small step, they all count. But you'll only see the fruit if you're willing to wait. And while you wait, you work. You show up with discipline. You stay locked in, not because it's easy, but because it matters. Consistency beats intensity. It's not about doing it once with fire. It's about doing it daily with focus. The gym session that transforms your body isn't the one you do once. It's the one you do over and over again. The skills that shape your career aren't built in a day. They're built through repetition, through showing up, even when progress feels invisible. Don't confuse slow progress with no progress. Don't measure your growth by what shows up instantly. Measure it by the habits you're building. Measure it by your ability to stay committed when the results are delayed. That's what separates the average from the exceptional. It's not talent. It's not luck. It's the ability to keep going when motivation fades and success seems far away. Everyone's excited at the beginning. Everyone's energized when things are new. But what happens on day 30 or day 300? That's where consistency becomes your greatest weapon. Success is like compound interest. You don't see it at first. Then suddenly it starts to build. And what once felt like small, meaningless actions turn into massive results. But only if you keep going. Only if you trust the process. Only if you believe that every step forward, no matter how small, is moving you in the right direction. So stop chasing instant outcomes. Start honoring daily effort. Start celebrating consistency. Because that's where real change begins. It's not about being perfect. It's about being persistent. Not about big leaps, but steady strides. If you stay consistent, the results will come. Maybe not today, maybe not tomorrow, but they will come. And when they do, you'll know they didn't arrive by accident. You earned them, step by step, day by day, one consistent action at a time. Pain and fatigue are temporary. Strength from endurance is permanent. In the moment, pain feels endless. Fatigue feels like it will never fade. Your body aches. Your mind screams for relief. You question why you even started. But here's the truth. What you're feeling right now is passing. It won't last. Pain is loud, but it's not forever. Fatigue is heavy, but it doesn't stay. What stays is what you build through it. What remains is the strength that comes from not giving up. Endurance doesn't just get you through hard things. It transforms you into someone who can handle more than you ever thought possible. Every time you push through discomfort, every time you go one more round, every time you choose to keep going instead of quitting, you're building something far greater than muscle. You're building grit. You're building character. You're building resilience. You see, temporary pain has a purpose. It stretches you. It refines you. It forces you to dig deeper, not for the sake of suffering, but for the strength it produces on the other side. Most people run from the pain. They stop at the first sign of resistance. But those who rise, they learn to keep moving through it. And they learn to breathe in the pressure and keep pressing forward. You may feel weak today, but if you endure, you'll wake up stronger tomorrow. You may feel exhausted, but that exhaustion is a signal. A sign that you're doing the work, that you're not standing still, that you're growing. You don't become stronger by avoiding the strain. You become stronger by enduring it, by deciding that what you're working toward matters more than the momentary discomfort. Pain is the price of growth. Fatigue is the evidence that you're putting in the effort. And endurance is the bridge between who you are and who you're meant to become. Strength gained through endurance is not physical alone. It's mental. It's emotional. It's spiritual. It's the kind of strength that can't be taken from you because you earned it, because you suffered for it, because you stayed when it would have been easier to walk away. The mind will try to convince you to quit. It will offer you comfort, excuses, escape. But the soul knows what it's fighting for. And if you trust that deeper part of yourself, you'll find a strength you didn't know you had. Every great achievement has a trail of tired footsteps behind it. A trail of moments where someone said, "This hurts, but I'm not done yet." And that mindset, that decision to endure, that's where the real transformation lives. So when pain comes, don't run. When fatigue sets in, don't fold. Remind yourself, this is not the end. This is the test. And if you pass it, what you gain is far greater than the pain you feel, because the pain will pass. The exhaustion will fade. But the strength you earn by enduring it, that's yours forever. You don't need perfection, only persistence. Perfection is a myth. It's a moving target that always stays just out of reach. It whispers lies that you're not good enough until every detail is flawless. But success doesn't demand flawlessness. Demands faithfulness. Faithfulness to the work, to the grind. You don't have to get everything right. You just have to refuse to give up. Because while perfection waits for the perfect moment, persistence gets to work with what's in front of it. Mistakes will happen. You'll stumble. You'll fall. That's not failure. That's part of the path. Real progress isn't a straight line. It's messy. It's filled with corrections, restarts, and learning curves. Persistence doesn't ask for perfection. It asks for commitment. It asks for a heart that says, "I may not be there yet, but I'm not turning back." Perfection wants applause. Persistence wants growth. Perfection wants everything to look right. Persistence just wants to move forward. Even if it's slow, even if it's silent, even if no one notices, you don't need to have all the answers. You don't need to be the smartest, the fastest, or the best. You just need to be willing to try again, to keep going when it's boring, to stay focused when it's hard, to show up when it's inconvenient. You grow by doing, not by waiting. You grow by moving, not by overthinking. And persistence always outruns perfection in the long run. The people who win aren't the ones who did it perfectly. They're the ones who refused to quit when things got messy, when things got hard, when results didn't show up right away. They kept going. They kept learning. They kept showing up. You don't need to be perfect to be powerful. You don't need to have it all together to take the next step. You just need to trust that your effort matters. That small progress is still progress. That growth is built in repetition. Some days you'll feel strong. Other days you'll feel weak. Some days you'll be proud of your effort. Other days you'll question if it's even worth it. But persistence doesn't need perfect conditions. It just needs your decision to continue. Every master was once a beginner. Every champion had setbacks. Every story of success includes moments of doubt, delay, and imperfection. But they didn't let that stop them. They kept going. They kept moving. They kept trying. So let go of the need to be perfect. It's slowing you down. It's convincing you that you're not ready. But you are. You are ready to take the next step, ready to build momentum, ready to push through. You don't need perfect timing. You need bold action. You don't need to feel ready. You need to get started. And once you start, keep going. Because consistency beats intensity. Because persistence creates excellence. Because showing up every day, even with flaws, is more powerful than showing up once with perfection. You don't need perfection. You never did. You just need the heart to keep going. One imperfect step at a time. Endurance is about direction, not speed. It's not about how fast you move. It's about where you're headed. You can be moving slowly and still be making powerful progress. You can be taking small steps and still be winning. We've been taught to glorify speed, to celebrate the hustle, to believe that faster is always better. But what good is speed if you're headed in the wrong direction? What good is rushing through life if you're chasing someone else's dream? If you're running on empty, trying to prove something to the world, but you're not even sure what you want for yourself? Endurance says, slow down, focus, breathe, unto observe you, and make sure the steps you take are aligned with your purpose. Because direction is what keeps you on course when everything else feels like chaos. It's what grounds you when the pace feels frustrating. It's what reminds you that progress isn't always visible, but it is always possible. Fast isn't always better. Sometimes it's just louder. Sometimes it burns out quicker. But direction, that's what gives your effort meaning. That's what gives your struggle purpose. The ones who endure are not the ones who explode out of the gate. They're the ones who pace themselves, who stay aligned with their mission, who resist the urge to compare their speed to someone else's race. Your life is not a sprint, it's a journey. And the goal is not to move fast, it's to move with purpose. There will be days when your steps feel small, days when it feels like you're barely moving at all. But if your direction is right, if your vision is clear, then every small step is progress. Every action you take in the right direction, even if it feels slow, is building something greater. Endurance is the art of continuing, not rushing. It's the discipline to keep walking forward even when you're tired, even when you're unsure, even when you're tempted to quit. Because real success isn't about who gets there first. It's about who refuses to stop. It's about who shows up when it's no longer exciting. Who keeps going when the energy fades and the applause dies down. Your job is not to outrun others. Your job is to stay on your path, to keep your eyes on your vision, to remember why you started. Speed can impress, but endurance wins. Speed can burn bright, but endurance lasts. It's what carries you through the storms. It's what steadies you when life gets shaky. The world will try to rush you, to make you feel like you're behind, to push you to chase things that don't really matter. But endurance whispers, stay steady, stay focused. You're not late, you're learning. You're growing, you're becoming. So walk your path, even if it's slow, even if it's quiet, even if others don't understand it. Because in the end, it's not how quickly you reach the destination. It's who you became on the way there. And that kind of growth, that kind of strength, it can't be rushed. It has to be earned. Step by step. In the right direction, emotion is real, but purpose must lead. Feelings are part of being human. You're supposed to feel doubt. You're supposed to feel fear, frustration, exhaustion, even anger. You're not weak because you feel overwhelmed. You're not broken because you feel uncertain. Emotion is not the enemy, but it cannot be the leader. Emotion reacts in the moment. Purpose sees the bigger picture. Emotion says quit when it hurts. Purpose says keep going because it matters. There will be days when you don't feel like doing anything. Days when motivation disappears, when nothing seems to be working, when you question if it's worth it. But that's where purpose steps in. That's where you remind yourself why you started. Emotion fluctuates. Purpose remains. Jinsu. If you let your emotions decide everything, you'll live on a roller coaster. Up one day, down the next. Inspired one moment, lost the next. But when you're led by purpose, you find stability. You find direction. You find discipline even when the passion fades, because you know you're working towards something greater than how you feel in this moment. Think about the strongest people you admire. They felt everything you feel now, but they chose not to let emotion control the wheel. They let it ride in the car, but purpose was always in the driver's seat. You don't have to ignore how you feel. You just can't let it dictate your decisions. Let emotion inform you, but let purpose guide you. Emotion is like the weather. It changes. Purpose is like the compass. It stays true. You don't abandon the journey just because it's raining. You put your head down and keep walking. When fear rises, purpose reminds you what's on the other side of that fear. When sadness visits, purpose gives you a reason to keep showing up. When anger flares up, purpose helps you channel it into focus, not destruction. Some of the most powerful actions you'll ever take will happen on the days when you feel the weakest. When you feel empty, but still move forward. When you feel lost, but still take one more step. That is strength. That is purpose in action. Emotion can be loud, it can be convincing. But you have to pause and ask, is this feeling leading me toward who I want to become, or away from it? Purpose answers that question. Purpose says, stay the course. Purpose says, you don't need to feel ready. You just need to keep going. You won't always be excited. You won't always feel strong. But your purpose can carry you when your emotions try to pull you off track. Lead with intention, lead with vision, lead with values, and let your emotions walk beside you, not ahead of you. This is how you stay grounded when life shakes. This is how you make decisions you can live with. Not based on mood, but based on meaning. Because emotion is real. But purpose is what turns that emotion into power, into action, into legacy. You are one effort away from a breakthrough. Don't quit. You may not see it yet. It may feel like nothing's changing. You might be tired, frustrated, and ready to walk away. But what if the moment you've been waiting for is just beyond the next push? What if the breakthrough is one more effort away? That's how life works. It hides the reward just behind resistance. It puts growth just past the struggle. And most people give up right before the breakthrough. Right before everything starts to shift. You've come too far to stop now. You've fought through too much to back down. This is not the time to retreat. This is the time to double down. Every drop of sweat, every sacrifice, every sleepless night, it's been building something. And just because you can't see it doesn't mean it's not working. Progress is not always loud. Growth is not always visible. But momentum is real. And one more push could be the one that changes everything. One more call, one more workout, one more hour of study, one more brave decision. One more attempt to rise. Breakthrough doesn't always announce its arrival. It doesn't always give you a sign. It shows up for the one who refuses to stop. That's why you must keep going. Not because it's easy. Not because you always feel strong. But because your future deserves that effort. You don't have to win the whole battle today. You just have to make the next move. The next effort. The one that says, I'm still here. I'm not done. I'm not quitting. Because even when it feels like nothing's changing, something is. You're getting stronger, more focused, more disciplined, more prepared for what's coming. Don't let temporary emotions sabotage permanent growth. Don't let a hard day erase the reason you started. This isn't the end. It's just the stretch before the shift. And start shaping it with your daily decisions. Because that's where destiny is decided. Not in what you dream about, but in what you choose to do. When you endure, you become someone that quitting can never defeat. Endurance isn't just about surviving hard times. It's about becoming unshakable through them. It's not just getting through the storm, it's becoming the kind of person who thrives in it. Every time you choose to keep going, you're not just getting closer to your goal. You're changing who you are. You're building something inside of you that can't be measured by numbers or recognition. Quitting is always an option. It whispers to you when it's hard. It offers comfort. It promises relief. But it never builds strength. It never gives you peace, only pause, and eventually regret. But when you choose to endure, even when you're exhausted, even when the results are invisible, even when every part of you wants to walk away, you prove to yourself that you are not easily broken. You are not someone who gives up when things get heavy. You are someone who rises in resistance. Endurance builds character. It strengthens your mind. It hardens your resolve. And over time, it changes your identity. You're no longer just someone chasing a goal. You become someone who can't be moved by setbacks. You become someone who cannot be defeated by pressure. The more you endure, the more power you take away from quitting. It starts to lose its grip. It no longer sounds convincing because you trained yourself to lean into struggle, to embrace the challenge, to keep going even without motivation. You stop waiting to feel ready. You stop hoping for easy, and you start welcoming the test because you know that's where the growth lives. That's where your edge sharpens. That's where you separate from the rest. Quitting is easy when you don't know your strength, but when you endure, you discover it. You learn what you're really capable of, and that knowledge stays with you. It becomes part of your foundation. It becomes part of your identity. No matter what you face next, you carry that endurance with you. It reminds you, I've been here before. I've done hard things. I didn't fold then, and I won't fold now. You become steady. You become focused. You become calm under pressure because you know something most people don't. That pain is not the end. That tired is not the same as finished. That setbacks don't mean stop. They mean keep showing up. They mean keep showing. Endurance teaches you to value the process, to love the climb, to respect the struggle. Because the person you become through endurance is far more powerful than anything you achieve. It's not about how fast you finish. It's about how deep you dig. How many times you said no to quitting. How many days you showed up despite everything telling you not to. That's how unbreakable people are made. That's how you become someone that quitting can never defeat. Because it's no longer just about reaching the goal. It's about becoming someone who refuses to lose. Someone who won't be moved. Someone who stands tall when the pressure rises. Someone who endures. And because of that, always wins. So when the road feels long, when the weight feels heavy, when quitting seems like the easier option, remind yourself who you're becoming. You're not just pushing through. You're rising up. You're proving to yourself and the world that no matter what comes your way, you will endure, you will grow, and you will never be defeated.